What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on the definitive 14A that they just put out, what it truly means, and then aside from all of that, where it might be heading next. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So today it did go up 1.81%. After hours, another 1.34%, and that is largely due to Apple. So Apple did unveil their earnings better than anticipated, so it is fair to assume Friday is going to be a very much exceptional day. As far as consumer data, the only thing that's coming out tomorrow is payroll. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes from that. But beside the point, I think Apple is going to propel a lot of AI plays and just the broader market significantly higher. And in SoundHound's case, it's been stuck in limbo. So I think tomorrow will be a very exciting day for SoundHound. So I'll break that down for you in a second. But 14.4 million shares were traded, 34.5 is the average. No official news from SoundHound. But you have seen this right here, so a definitive 14A, and that ultimately is just a shareholder meeting, so I've already kind of marked it up. So it is slated for June the 12th right here at 8 a.m. for these 4 points, for these 4 proposals, and ultimately it's just directors, the actual accounting firm, the compensation, and then point number 4 is just the frequency of the compensation on, I guess, future voting and whether it's going to be every year, every 2 years, or every 3 years. So for a future video, I will go over point number 3 and kind of go in depth on that. But aside from that, nothing really crazy. You do have to be a holder as of April the 15th. So if you did recently buy SoundHound, you don't really get to participate in this, but you're not really missing all that much. It is an annual meeting, nothing really crazy. But on a side note, if you are wanting to participate in this, you do need a control number, and that usually is given by your broker through the mail or electronically. So kind of just contact them if you haven't received it already. And then, yeah, that way you can actually vote on this. That's if you do care. Some people might not, some people do. You guys do whatever floats your boat. But talking on shorts for a second, so shorts did increase 85,000 shares today. 20.47% of the free float is being shorted. 57.12 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost per average 27.66, and then utilization is 97.78%. Just to get rid of some of this crap, I do have to give hats off to SoundHound, because despite shorts increasing quite significantly over this last little bit, on a technical stance, it has held up. So again, that's kind of a positive thing. I'll go over technicals in a second, but you do see right here, looking at options, 939 in calls, 218 in puts. Sentiment wise, 61% of all the options being done were optimistic and bullish. And of the call options that were purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above $5, roughly between the $5 and $5.50 post earnings, so for the week of May the 10th. And then looking at puts, you do see for that same week it to be sub $4. So that's more so linked to the technicals. Again, I'll talk on that in a second, but these are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market. So you're not seeing all that much involvement from institutions. So they're probably just waiting for their earnings, which is going to be the next big catalyst, hopefully, for SoundHound. And that'll be coming out next week on May the 9th. So hopefully they do have home run earnings, and that'll really incentivize institutions to get back in, because like I said, SoundHound is a good hybrid stock, but for the momentum aspect, you need capital to come in. So again, it is what it is. These are some of the transactions that have occurred on the dark pool. So dark pool is very, very popular as usual, a little bit tamer than what it has been, but still 1.94 million that was done on the first. So yeah, it's kind of, it is what it is. A lot of this is correlated with shorts, but the technicals, that's one aspect that I have been very much impressed with for SoundHound. So with it closing at $4.49 and then $4.54 after hours, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So $4.56 will be a very key resistance point that you'll want to watch for SoundHound to get above tomorrow. And again, with Apple unveiling the earnings, it is fair to assume that it will probably start and open within this pivot and this R1. So I think tomorrow will be a very exciting day. I don't feel like it's enough to get above this R1, so this $5.49, but going into tomorrow, that'll be the next target above this pivot point right here. And then vice versa, let's say Apple does come out, because their earnings call is underway right now. Let's say they come out and say that we're closing business. Technically, $3.63 is that next strong support that you want to watch for if there is a sell-off, but I don't really anticipate that to happen. And beside the point, you have seen this to hold up like a champ in the past. So something to kind of consider. Over this last couple days though, it did successfully stay in the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, which overall is fairly good. On stochastic, you do see it rather high. So it is at 73, so that can be interpreted as overbought. So the first sign of weakness, then you are going to see a sell-off. And of course, momentum plays can be very much staying in overbought status for a very long time, but still, regardless, like I said, the first sign of weakness, whether coming from the larger economic standpoint or just SoundHound itself, then you are going to see a sell-off. But despite that though, number of investors, retail investors, have been getting in over this last little bit ever since it looks like around April the 5th. So all in all, have you been buying SoundHound? Have you been selling? What have you been doing? As well, if you've been doing options, give yourself a shout out in the comments below. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they do give you 7 fractional shares of the 𝗪𝗧𝗛. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.